What's up, YouTube? I'm back with another video, and I want to talk to you guys about why I bought a motorcycle. So why did I buy a motorcycle? Anytime I tell someone I drive a motorcycle, that's like a follow-up question. Why did you buy a motorcycle? You know, and that's a good question to ask. But why do you go skydiving? You know, why do you go rock climbing? There's a lot of different reasons why you do all of those things, and there's a lot of different reasons why I bought a motorcycle. First and foremost, it was a very difficult decision for me to make. Although it's something that I wanted to do since I was a young kid. I've always talked about owning a motorcycle, but it was one of the toughest decisions that I made last year in August. And I'm not going to get into too much details, but I lost my best friend who was more like a brother to me in a motorcycle accident. We talked about buying our motorcycles together, and he ended up getting his first, and he had an accident and didn't make it. So buying a motorcycle to me was a really tough decision, and quite honestly, anytime I get on the bike, I always think about my best friend. So it was a tough decision to make. It was tough letting my family and friends that are close to me know, hey, I just bought a motorcycle. It's a really touchy subject, you know, and I don't talk about it much, but I do think about it, you know. But I bought the motorcycle essentially because it's something that I always wanted to do. You know, we wake up each day, we go to work, we get paid, we pay bills and go to work and pay some more bills and do the same thing over and over. So since all we do is work and pay bills, you know, my bucket list is not as big as a lot of people. I don't want to go skydiving. I don't want to go rock climbing. Shoot, I don't even want to travel across the country. Well, I take that back. Yes, I do. I don't want to travel internationally. I'm not a big traveler. I'm more of a homebody. I like being at home, hanging out, having, you know, cookouts and video games and whatnot. That's what I do. So buying a motorcycle has been on my bucket list since, I can't remember how long. I know I was a kid. But I wanted to buy a motorcycle, and like I said, life threw some really hard curveballs and hit me where it hurts the most. So it was a tough decision, but as I started getting comfortable with it, I actually bought a scooter. Yeah, a 50cc scooter, and I kind of got acclimated.
Holla, wait a minute, holla, wait a minute, holla.
By the way, I still have that scooter, and I need to get rid of that junk because it just sits there now. I haven't ridden that since I bought my motorcycle. I haven't even turned it on. But anyways, to get back on topic, you know, I wanted to buy a motorcycle. I was a little bit scared, and I did a lot of research. So I started watching a lot of YouTube videos about motorcycles, a different type of the bikes they have, and you know, reading up on what people recommend. I even talked to a couple of friends who do drive motorcycles, and their recommendation on what they think I should buy. You know, and after I did a lot of that research, the biggest thing that came to me, or the biggest conclusion that I made from watching and talking to all these people was, you know, buy something you're going to be comfortable on. You know, this is a big investment that a lot of us make, you know, not just money-wise, but you know, our life depends on how well we drive and how well we feel comfortable on our motorcycles, you know? Not taking advantage of this throttle right here that I got on my right-hand side, you know, is, you know, self-control. And I like to speed in my cars. I get speeding tickets all the time. Yeah, I can't afford any more speeding tickets. My wife will probably cut my head off. But anyways, I did a lot of research, and the conclusion was, you know, buy something you're going to be comfortable in. That was a good conclusion. But what does that mean? Buy something you're comfortable with. What did that mean to me was, you know, how comfortable do I feel with a 600cc or a 1000cc or a 250 or a 300, considering I never ridden a motorcycle in my life before, you know? Even when my friend had his motorcycle, I never rode it. I sat on it and took pictures, and believe me, they were on my Instagram because I wanted to be cool. But I didn't know the answer to that question, and I did a lot more research, and you know, it wasn't easy, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, I followed what my conclusion was, you know, buy something I was comfortable with. I sat on a couple bikes, I sat on this bike, and this bike felt the most comfortable for me. Now granted, it's not a 600, it's not a leader bike, I may not be able to keep up, but anytime I get on my bike, the goal is for me to come home. I have 3 kids, a wife, I have a household I maintain. It's just not my life that I'm worried about when I get on this bike. Is everybody who cares about me, who I think about when I get on my bike. So I think about that when I made my purchase, or I thought about that when I made my purchase and I bought my bike. You know, I feel more comfortable with this 300 because it's obviously less power, and you know, some people might say, well, you can't get out of traffic predicaments, you know, and yeah, that's probably true. I bought this bike because I sat on it, it felt comfortable, I felt like, you know, it was the right type of bike for me to get as my first bike to learn on and to get comfortable on 2 wheels. You know, being on 2 wheels is just a whole different feeling, and I never knew that once I bought my bike, I was gonna love it this much. It's become a really big passion of mine, and a lot of my friends probably get sick and tired of me talking about motorcycles, because in my friendship circle, I am probably the only one with a motorcycle right now. I do have friends with other motorcycles, that have motorcycles, I mean, but in my immediate groups, like the friends that I talk to every single day of my life, they don't own a motorcycle, and they probably think I'm crazy because this is all I talk about when we're together. But this is a whole different feeling, you know? Like, some people do drugs. I ride a motorcycle. Some people are addicted to tobacco. I'm addicted to riding 2 wheels. You know, my addiction is no different than anybody else's addiction, and you know, there is health risks, obviously, but man, just the feeling, you know, in your soul that you're out here on 2 wheels, you know, just driving and feeling the wind, you know, even though you have a full face mask on, it feels great. It's the best feeling ever, you know. It helps clear your mind. It helps get your thinking going. I do a lot of thinking when I get on my bike. I do a lot of planning when I get on my bike. And it's been the best feeling ever, you know. There's no specific answer as to why I bought a motorcycle. You know, there's a lot of reasons. It was on my bucket list. One of the main purposes, you know, we live every day to pay bills and go to work. I don't want to live that way all the time, you know. I don't travel as much, you know. There's not a lot of things that I want on my bucket list, but this was one of them, and I felt that I needed to do it. I don't want to be that person who's, when he's 50 and 60 and 70 years old, think back saying, I coulda, shoulda, woulda. You know, instead I'm saying, I did this, here's my experience. It was the best time of my life. Now, I will say, I don't encourage anybody to do anything that I do. So, even my closest friends that they see me on my bike, they want a motorcycle, I don't encourage them to do it unless it's something that they really want to do. You know, why do you want a motorcycle is an important question you should answer to yourself first before you even make this commitment. You know, if it's for any other reason except for what you want, then it's a really bad idea. Anything you do that's not your idea or your want is a really bad idea. You have to do things because you want to, not because someone else is doing it, and not because you think it's cool and, you know, whatever the case might be. You gotta do it because you want to do it. I think I ran my mouth a little bit too much than I should have, but that's kind of why I bought my motorcycle. No specific answer. I did it because it was on my bucket list, and now it's become one of my biggest passions. You know, I don't regret buying my motorcycle at all. You know, as a matter of fact, I wish I can add to my motorcycle garage, you know, and that will happen, just not yet. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate all the support. I'll have more videos on the way. So make sure you like this video and subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.